Hi there. Has your relationship been devastated by one of you having an affair? If so, you're not alone. It's one of the most common reasons that people come for couples therapy. People come to see me, and the person who has been betrayed is feeling sad and hurt and angry and shocked. And the person who has cheated is feeling guilty and ashamed. And I've seen over the years that there's a pattern that happens in your communication when one person's had an affair, and maybe you'll relate to this. It goes like this. The person who's been betrayed has had their whole world turned upside down. Their sense of reality is just gone. And so they're trying to regain some sense of that reality. And they do that by asking questions. They're asking their partner all the time, where did you go? What did you do? What did you talk about? What happened? And because they're trying to feel that they've got some sort of sense of control, or that they've got all the information there so that they can start to try and work through it. The person who's done the cheating tries very hard to answer those questions because they want to reassure their partner. Very often they'll say, it was a terrible mistake. I'll never make this mistake again. And I'll keep answering your questions so that I've got nothing to hide. And so they keep trying to reassure their partner. But what happens is that their partner can't get that sense of trust no matter how many questions they ask and how many answers they get. They just can't get that sense of trust. And after a little while, the person who's cheated, much as they want to reassure their partner, they start to get a little bit irritated. It's like, I told you this, I've told you everything. I don't know what more I can say to you. And, you keep asking me these questions. And so they get locked into a sort of stalemate. If you or your partner has recently had an affair, or you've had this experience, you likely recognize this pattern that I'm describing. So what can you do to move forward? How can you get the trust back? The way to do that is to actually find out, why did that person cheat in the first place? What was happening in your relationship that led them to look outside of the relationship for some sort of attention or solace or calmness, or whatever it was? Because once you know why it happened, then you can work on fixing that issue and making sure that you will be able to see the red flags going future in your relationship. Should things be beginning to go in that direction, things not working out very well between you, so that you can address it there and then. Once you know this why, then the person who's been betrayed can feel a lot better, and they find it a lot more easy to trust again in the relationship, because now they know this is why it went wrong. Now we've got something we can work with. When you come into couples therapy, this is exactly what we work on. We work, first of all, on helping you express the hurt and the frustration and all the emotions that both of you are feeling. But we also put a lot of emphasis on what went wrong, what would you do differently in the future? How can you set goals for the future to spot those red flags so that you can move forward in your relationship feeling fully trusting and communicating in a way that means that you really hear each other, you really acknowledge each other and understand each other. Couples often come to me and they say, can you help me? Can you help us get our relationship back to where it was before this affair happened, so that we can go back to where we were? And I generally say, I'm not going to help you do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help you have a relationship that's better than it's ever been. So if you're interested in coming for some sessions to resolve these issues once and for all and get that trust back in your relationship and get your relationship back on track, I offer a free 30-minute consultation session where we meet up on Zoom, we have a chat, get to know each other. You can tell me a little bit more about what's been going on for you, and we can start to set some goals, book you in for some sessions, and help you to move forward. Just click the link below for more information on that. I'm Marléne Rose Shaw, therapist, coach, and self-help author. Thanks for being here today, and I look forward to connecting with you again. Bye-bye.